In this lab, we will be studying the transient responses of RC and RL circuit. In a series RC circuit, when a DC voltage source is connected, the capacitor voltage doesn't immediately increase to the value of the voltage, so it doesn't charge immediately. Rather, it takes some resistance and charges accordingly based on this exponential formula. So it doesn't like changes in voltage. And similarly, for an inductor, it doesn't increase its current immediately when a voltage is applied to this series RL circuit. So rather, the current changes according to this exponential function. So inductor doesn't like changing its current immediately. Now in the experiments, we will be rather using square wave pulses. And in an RC circuit, you can see how slowly the capacitor voltage is charging towards the maximum input voltage. So it takes about 5 times the time constant, so 5 tau, to reach the fullest value, where tau, the time constant, equals to RC product. And similarly, it takes 5 times tau to reach to the fully discharged to 0 volt level. And in a series RL circuitry, the inductor current doesn't reach its fullest value. In this case, it would be Vn over R, unless we have 5 times the time constant is passing. So over here, you're seeing the resistor voltage waveform. The waveform on the VR is same as the inductor current. Since we have no way of observing the inductor waveform in analog discovery, we're using the resistor voltage. So in our case, it would take 5 times the time constant to reach the full magnitude here on the input. And again, it takes 5 times the time constant to reach to the 0 level. So you can treat this as inductor current reaching its fullest value. Now, to be able to observe these time constant or tau from the waveform, we need to set the input frequency such that we can comfortably see these behaviors. So in an RC circuit, if the frequency we select is too low, then we see that capacitor is immediately charging and then immediately discharging. But it would be hard to measure probably the time constant tau. So we would look at where this one reaches to 63% of the maximum, and then we could measure tau. So it's a little bit hard. Now if the frequency is too high, then capacitor won't have enough time to fully charge and fully discharge. So you wouldn't want to use any of these arrangements. So you may want to have a situation where the frequency is such that capacitor is comfortably charging to the fullest. So we know that it takes about 5 tau to reach the fullest value. So if we can set the pulse width of the square wave equal to 5 times tau, then we would see nice waveforms and able to measure what the tau would be. Just look at the 63% point. So that means the frequency of the input waveform should be such that the pulse width is equals to the 5 tau, and you know that pulse width is half the period. So you can multiply pulse width by 2, and 1 over that would be the frequency. So you can easily figure this out. I think it's 1 over 10 tau, but please observe this for yourself. As for the experiment, the open-ended design problem, you're given a specification such that the capacitor waveform is reaching 50% of the maximum in 15.25 microseconds. Now here you can use the capacitance voltage formula and basically find that what this 50% point corresponds in terms of tau. Maybe it's 0.8 tau, maybe 0.6 tau. You need to figure that out from the formulation. So this information will then give you the tau, and then you will need the tau to design for the components. So you can choose basically any practical value that you want for the capacitance, and then you can figure the resistance based on that. So there are multiple solutions to this problem. So maybe one team is using 0.5 microfarad, another one using maybe 1 microfarad, and then based on the resistances would be different. But try to find values that are available in your component box, and so you should have your limitation being the values available in your components kit. Then once you design, you need to verify your design using Multisim, apply a square wave pulse, which is toggling between 0 and 4 volts, and set its frequency. So you know what to set for the frequency from this discussion, I hope. And then you need to basically verify to me that this is true. So you're able to see something very close to 15.25 microsecond when you are setting the cursor at 2 volts. And then you repeat this in analog discovery. Apply a square wave pulse. And for this, you may need to do a DC bias in the waveform generator. So there's a setting where you can apply a DC bias to shift the waveform up, because usually it's between -2 and +2. And then again, you're gonna verify you're able to see 15.25 microsecond when the waveform reaches to 50%, which is 2 volts. Your measurement might be a little off because the resistance and capacitance has tolerances. So if you have a multimeter that's measuring capacitance, measure the capacitance, but you should definitely measure the resistance and try to recalculate your theoretical value to see if you got a better match. Now, second part of the problem is this series LR circuit, and analog discovery measures this on one of the channels, the resistor voltage. So this is a representation of the inductor current waveform. So normally if you pick a resistor larger than the inductance internal resistance, then you should see this resistor voltage reaching all the way to 4 volts. Remember, although it's an inductor, there's a series resistance value, maybe 50 ohms, maybe 70 ohms. So it's important that you pick a resistor really larger than this one. Now, the design criteria is that you're gonna have VR reaching to 63% in 10 microseconds. So you can easily figure the time constant there, I hope. Then you need to pick out an inductor from your component kit, and then based on that you need to figure the value of resistance. You know tau is L over R, so you're gonna use that formula. And again, you need to have such that the resistance value is more than 500 ohms to reduce the error. So do not pick an inductor that's large and a resistance that's 100 ohms. So you're gonna have this one not reaching to the fullest value. Again, there are multiple solutions on this one. And this one says the right way to calculate the time constant if you're considering the internal resistance. So you might want to measure the inductor's internal resistance with an ohm meter set in ohm meter position so you can have better theoretical calculation. And then in the post-lab questions, you will discuss the impact of tolerances and also answer these other questions. Since this is a team lab, make sure to have equal distribution among 3 team members. This is the suggestion that I have. There are 2 parts of the open-ended design problem. Now everybody should work in the design of RC/RL circuits, so that's why you need to go to maybe a virtual room and discuss all together. But one team member should be responsible for the simulation part, and second team member can do the part A of the experiment in analog discovery and collect the data. The third member runs part B using analog discovery and collecting the data. But everyone should be responsible putting the lab report together. And remember, you need to present this in a collaborate session to your instructor. So make sure you have a neat distribution of the topics and you're responsible putting the responsibilities on the lab report. And if you have some other alternative to this arrangement, please discuss with your lab instructor just to be sure. Thank you.